Many communities in Uganda are today battling with poverty as they struggle to empower their households. But the roads are too narrow. The only option could be switching into commercial agriculture. Unfortunately, communities have not got access to irrigation systems to bring this dream to reality. In Angerepo Parish, a Peduru sub-county in Amuria district, a number of teenage girls are reportedly pushed for early marriages, with many of them resorting to terminating pregnancies due to underage and poor economic status, scaring them from individually running their families. It is on this background that a section of youth in Angerepo village have launched economic war by establishing a local water pipeline project that supplies water for irrigation as they seek an opportunity to transform their community. The initiative by the members of the creation ambassadors in this community has now seen their dream drawing closer. Isaac Enyamu, a member of the creation ambassadors who returned home after graduating with a diploma in medical laboratory in year 2014. But because of failure to get employed, he swallowed pride and returned home to become a shamba boy. Nobody trusted his decision, but according to him, he certainly believed that his home return decision was a new chapter for his poor community.
My name is Isaac Enyamu. From Amuria district, Peduru sub-county, Angerepo village. This is a simple project that came from a long-term dream from my childhood as I witnessed on what was going in the village. But then of course I had the other bigger dream of being a medical practitioner. But even after pursuing that and after qualifying as a medical practitioner, I still felt like there was something lacking. Being raised in the culture of farming, I felt all my ambitions were kind of lost. So I took kind of some small initiative. At a certain moment, I felt I should be able to produce more, but then the rain pattern changed in the village setting, and because of the change in the rain pattern, there were a lot of losses. You plant crops, they dry up. At a certain moment, we had mobilized some few funds to give some people some relief when we were hit by drought, to help them to sustain them, some food and some seeds to plant. But to my dismay, at a shorter period, when we were distributing cassava stems, we were hit again because of the unpredictable rains in the area. We were hit by serious sunshine, and the cassava stems just dried up like that. And so as I kept on sharing with my friends that I've been working with, that have been sharing with me same vision, I was able to sell to them this idea that why don't we maybe dig some kind of a shallow well and find ways of pumping that water into some tank. And that's why I was able to establish some tanks up there, 30,000 liters for water. So with a solar panel, solar panel helps to pump the water into the tanks, and then the tanks will be able to feed other areas that have been connected with water.
His vision is very rare in such times. Isaac has never attained any agric-related course nor any training, but the young man behind this locally made irrigation project has turned around the lives of the people in this community. Angerepo Water Project aims at making this community sustainable in production, pulling up the income household levels, ensuring food security to fight famine, and empowering the youth to afford education through crop irrigation. This is Ben Esilu, one of the young people in this village whose lives have changed through this initiative. He commends the project and calls for more hands to enhance their group.
My name is Simben for Amuria district, Peduru sub-county, Angerepo village. We have welcomed this project for our benefit. If we can get more funding from the government, I think we shall also be changed with this project. Shall change our lives, because for us we are just now lousing around the village, not knowing what to do. But now, if the government can help us, fund us with this project, we shall also be changing.
With support from the Creation Ambassadors of Uganda, in partnership with the Colby Center for the Study of Creation in the US, at least 15 most needy homes have so far received the piped water for irrigation, and the outcome is visible. At least they can now grow vegetables throughout the year and sell to raise the money to support their families, including those most needy homes. This irrigation project is a life changer for this local community. Of course, it is through this emphasis that we have seen the Creation Ambassadors trying to struggle here and there in most parts of the country to try to support the vulnerable communities, the most disgruntled people, the people living with disabilities, those that are living in single families, but also the orphans. So they therefore currently carry a very huge task ahead of them to ensure that they now hold the communities with 2 hands, considering the fact that their organization is getting very much vibrant in the country. The simple storage building is a tank stand, a structure that sets clear pace for the visionary farming in this community. The building holds the water tanks and the solar system that pumps water from the source for distribution. The water source is just a few meters close to this structure, and this is where the piped water is pumped straight to the farms and secured for domestic use as well. Each of the beneficiaries targets to produce a minimum of 15 tons of tomatoes per season, 10 tons of onions, and 25 tons of cabbages. This alone would raise for them huge money to transform their individual lives and their community. Opio collects most of the youth in this village and practically takes them through the farming basics. This he does every weekend. He believes that the Creation Ambassadors' engagements are the most workable means of creating the mindset change amongst the youth through the ultimate love of Christ. Samuel Enyamu, the LC1 chairman of this village, also the farmer, is one of those that we found pruning and staking his tomato garden. Enyamu tells the power of this simple project to the lives of his people.
Yes, I'm a girl Samuel. I'm in Angerepo. I'm a farmer by profession, but I've done this work for so long. But the initiative Isaac has brought to us is a very good initiative, because since he brought this water source, we are battling with carrying water from the borehole. But when he started bringing this water, we started to use this water during this. I think by the start of January, that's when we started, when the sun was very, very hot. We started that to use that water when it is very hot, and we started to plant these tomatoes at that time. But right now we are seeing it as a good initiative for him to bring to our village. We are so many. We are taking as a good initiative, and it is going to change our lives, and it is going to change the lives of the people of this village if it is given more support and more funding from other partners. But otherwise, it is a very good initiative for this village, and it needs for the partners to give him some support so that he extends this initiative to other areas and other people from this village.
Now, if I may ask, You have about an acre or 2 acres of tomatoes. How much money do you raise from this? Do you expect to raise from this garden?
I think I expect to raise from this garden. I expect to raise about 5 to 8 million by this season.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you only grow tomatoes?
We have even cabbages.
Yes.
We have cabbages. That, as you have seen, it is still, we are still transplanting. From that cabbage, we are expecting to get about 6 to 7 million.
He received a piped water project in his garden and now expects to earn a minimum of Uganda shillings 18 million from his 4 tomato acre garden and cabbages. Another one is Isaac Enyamu, a widow within the same village who received piped water for irrigation in his garden. She is already expecting to harvest 6 tons of cabbage. According to her, she can now foot the tuition bills of her 5 children, including one daughter who is pursuing a bachelor's degree in physical planning at Makerere University. And this all comes from the empowerment of the local irrigation project.
Arainga akorion no chala la ngere po village etela peduru et district Amuria ak era koribore ne tiono no dai borne yauta tion sina korke ngesa kipi ngesi salam kitorso kasesa patai saka o team anengara itisa kirotona kipi ilipti sesi kwana apugani ngara kangesa nine so gogomni perasa ay spesa rucho ni sa kipini punya spera raso de tijiba korwa tetereso ipedora akrosine ne akrone shomerwa ay jaro kalia et angaleuda pengino to makor ne penene siduman kiniso iborolu itosomai.
Opio spends much of his time in monitoring people's gardens, especially on the efficient use of the piped water to ensure that time and resources are put into proper use. However, the locals face tough times when their solar system stops functioning due to insufficient power.
Because I believe that if the food basket is raised up, if they are able to feed well, then these other minor sicknesses that always affect the people in the villages that keep on milking money from their small income that they get maybe from this side in Amuria. We only have 2 seasons, and some seasons you don't really have it. So this small income would only be maybe kind of increased if people started producing continuously in the year. Well, people have some good chunks of land, but then when it is dry season, it just remains there like that, is not used. So I felt it would be more necessary and much more important if they were connected with water. But then, because as the distance kind of increases away from these water tanks, the pressure of water decreases. And that is the major challenge that I have personally faced. Of course, after raising the antennas of the neighbors, they feel like they want water. But I feel they are not getting enough water because the pressure is low. And then, of course, also the solar panels that I have put, they are kind of few. They are unable to pump water very fast because of the sunshine. The sunshine is not all that constant. Sometimes the clouds kind of cover the sun, and then it stops pumping water, so there is a little water being pumped. But of course, I pray that as we continue, maybe from these small plants that we have planted, if we are able to get something like 5 or 6 million, maybe it will help us to buy more solar panels that can help to boost up the pumping of the water. But that is a long-term kind of program. Of course, the other things we are optimistic, we are thinking of as youth maybe to come together and dig some kind of fish ponds. We want to have also fish ponds here, because already we have the source of water. It's like we have the answer to all our farm kind of problems that we have been having. So we can also have those fish ponds. We're also planning to start maybe some bit of some piggery around here, where we shall be keeping pigs, because the water will always also be there. Also, we intend to start keeping some goats, but then that is in a long-term program, because we are trying to look at how can we elevate our income within the village and the people can benefit. Of course, most of the people have dropped out of school because of lack of school fees. You know, someone can sustain paying school fees up to maybe senior 4, senior 5, but now when it comes to tertiary institutions where they're paying millions, they just give up, because the common way we are getting money is through farming, and yet the rain pattern has changed completely. These days is unpredictable, so when you plant, sometimes you lose, so you are unable to take your children to school.
This group of young people are now seeking for the alternative support from any well-wisher across the globe to come to their aid and empower their community, especially on provision of sufficient solar system, so that the water can reach all homes in their village to have their dream come true, as they set eyes on irrigation as their last option to deliver their community from poverty. Well, in Uganda here, of course, most parts of the country are very hot. Like you must have read from the geographical oratory that Uganda, of course, is one of the countries which is landlocked. And as a matter of fact, the country also has got 2 seasons and also 4 regions. That is the central region, the northern region, the eastern region, and the western part of the country. This is the Teso sub-region, and it lies in between the Karamoja sub-region and the Lango, which is the other northern part of the country, which is semi-arid. And as you know, the people of Karamoja do not grow crops. They basically rear the animals, or rather would say they are nomadists, and they do keep cows seasonally, because there are no rains there for them to be able to do the cultivation. But as I can also compare to you, here in Teso, the people try to cultivate, the people try to do the farming. And just like you can see on my background, the sun is very hot. When you see my face, I cannot be able to see normally because the sun rays are too tough and they strike my face, my eyes. But the people here are able to be resilient enough. Just like you can see, women are able to have their own gardens and cultivate vegetables to be able to run their families, to feed children when they come back from school, to give supplementary, which of course plays a role of assisting the men when they move out. In the African culture, men move out to go and look for food. Now, this is a water project which has been initiated by this gentleman. Very nice, very constructive and very useful. If it would be or given much support, you know, Uganda is one of the poorest countries. It is struggling to, of course, recycle its economy. The level of poverty is so high in most parts of the country, especially in this section where I'm standing from currently, and this is the Teso sub-region. This is one of the areas where people feed just a meal in a day. Daytime, 4 o'clock of the day is when a meal is had. It looks like a miracle to you, but take time and you will be able to understand how Uganda makes its people. The Pearl of Africa, with its motto, "For God and my country," people are seeking God's guidance. People are now relying that if God comes to intervene, maybe they can still have hope. But you can see on my background is a cabbage orchard which has been prepared, nurtured and grown by one of the women who is seeking to raise income from here to bring food on the table of her family. This water project is what has done this. People are able now to cultivate vegetables, as you have seen from the testimonies. And these are one of the works, the outcome of this water project. So the only challenge is that the solar system that has been installed to pump the water for longer distances is very weak. And now this young man is looking for a backup, for a supplementary that can be able to make him fulfill his dream of changing the lives of the people around him. Safe water, clean water, water for irrigation, as we all confirm that water is life. One of the things which has led most of the young girls in Africa to get into the issue of abortion with the aim to control the population is poverty. The higher levels of poverty have frustrated the people from running the family responsibilities. And this is what we are fighting. If people are empowered, they are able to sustain stand for their families. Therefore, abortion will have no room in Uganda.